Philly pop music, the Lost Pioneers.
Tony Bidgood was originally in the clothing business. He eventually opened up a store on South Street called Grumbles.
Jesus, Tony, how long has it been since you played softball? Let's play softball.
That was at the Hot Club. I suppose that was at the Hot Club when he was playing with the Bloodless Pharaohs. And I got taught, because I had tattoos and I was a bit of a, he thought I was a bit of a rocker from the old days anyway, he got talking to me, and when he found I had the shop, he came to the shop, and I was always, dressing him. He'd get clothes from the shop for me, offer me, and because that's the sort of clothing I was selling, and he liked that. So, and I became good friends with him and his girlfriend at the time, and then we used to hang out together, and I'd go and see him, and when he came, he would stay with me. Him and his girlfriend would, when I was in Philly. But and that's how really I became friends with him. And then he did play Dobbs a few times, but when the Bloodless Pharaohs split up, because he had an argument with his brother, who actually used to play. His younger brother used to play drums with see-through plastic Mac on, actually, and he wanted to be the front man drummer. So he kept on moving the drums up, and Brian was like trying to get it, and it all went completely wrong. And so he got rid of him, and then that's where Jim came in. Jim just happened to be there with a set of drums in his van at the time, and so he became the drummer after that. And then the bass player they had was another guy who had a bit of a drink problem, and so he went into rehab. And then he got another friend of Jim's, was the bass player, which actually that nucleus turned out to be the Stray Cats. But they started changing the style of music. They basically started to do rockabilly or rock and roll rather than the punk music that they were doing before. So it was a bit of I suppose Johnny Be Good rather than Honeymoon Dungeon, which was one of the tracks they were doing before. They were playing here. Brian was playing here, and I remember I think it was a New Year's Eve, and I'd been telling Brian that you should go to England. And one day, I think New Year's Eve was playing at Dobbs as the Tomcats, because he wasn't playing at the Hot Club as the Tomcats. And he played at Dobbs as a top cat, and then he was on stage and he said, "Take me with you, and why don't you come with us?" And I thought about it. I said no, and then he said, "Come on, take me on stage." And I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. I'm not thinking that it would purely be me going back on holiday for a month to England, and it just developed into something else.
Philly pop music, the Lost Pioneers.